Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight in our news. A Marine accused of murder granted bail. Plus, a woman dies following a 3-car collision. And tourism officials visit Canada with the message that the Bahamas is open for business.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs, topping news tonight. As government awaits the Bahamas National Marijuana Commission's report on the issue of marijuana, one co-chair of the commission says he has received death threats over his work regarding the controversial drug.
I have been maligned, I have been discredited, I even got 2 death threats.
Marijuana Commission co-chair Bishop Simeon Hall says he has paid a steep price for his work on marijuana. Hall, a former Christian Council president, visited 9 countries as a member of CARICOM's Regional Commission on Marijuana. Here at home, he has served as co-chairperson of the Bahamas National Commission on Marijuana, a group tasked with charting the way forward for the illegal plant.
Somebody said to me on the phone, when you bring marijuana to the Bahamas, we can take all y'all out. But the mental midget that he is, he don't know that marijuana is on every street corner in the Bahamas.
Hall says he didn't officially report the threats to police, although he says he informed a friend who was a police officer. His revelation comes days after Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced his support for decriminalizing small quantities of the drug and legalizing it for medicinal purposes. 71% of people surveyed in a 2018 public domain poll supported medical marijuana. Hall's fellow church leaders on the Christian Council have been more quiet, though. That group's president, Bishop Dalton Fernander, has said he is waiting for the report before announcing a position.
I would have liked to have seen the Christian Council to make some opinion, but I understand the position. They want to react, and that's kind of, they want to react rather than act before.
Minnis expressed confidence that the Bahamas Commission's report would be similar to that of CARICOM, which recommended an end to marijuana prohibition. Hall's co-chair on the Marijuana Committee, Quinn McCartney, told the Nassau Guardian earlier this week that there would be no surprises in the report. Asked if the report would be similar to CARICOM's, Hall gave this reply.
I know that we studied some of CARICOM's recommendations, but I don't think that will be the total umbrella under which we speak.
In news from the courts, 2 Haitian women and a Bahamian man appeared in the magistrate's court today. A 19-year-old woman with the alias Jalika Joseph was charged with 4 counts of possession of a false document and 4 counts of uttering a false document. Joseph allegedly had a false Haitian passport in the name of Jalika Joseph Moss and obtained a Bahamian police record, medical certificate, and Centerville Primary School letter. Joseph is further charged with Carleen Joseph and Garfield Moss with 1 count of conspiracy to commit fraud, 3 counts of fraud by false pretenses, and 1 count of attempted fraud by false pretenses. It is alleged that they attempted to obtain Bahamian citizenship for the young woman by false pretenses. They're also accused of obtaining a Haitian passport from the Haitian consulate, a fraudulent medical record from the Family Medical Clinic, and a Bahamian police record from the Criminal Record Office. They pled not guilty and were remanded to prison until February of 2020. The Marine accused of murdering a superior officer and the attempted murders of 2 other Marines at Government House back in April was granted bail in the Court of Appeal this morning. Jasmine Brown was in court and has the details.
Seymour remained stoic in court as it was revealed that he would be getting a pre-trial bail. However, those Court of Appeal justices made it clear that it would be coming with several conditions. The 35-year-old is charged with the April 28th murder of Royal Bahamas Defense Force Petty Officer Percival Perpall and the attempted murders of Calvin Hanna and Ellis Ramming. Seymour is also accused of possession of a firearm with the intention of endangering the lives of Hannah and Ramming. Seymour, who lost a considerable amount of weight, stared blankly ahead in court as he appeared before Court of Appeal Justices John Isaacs, Stella Crane Scott, and Sir Michael Barnett. Seymour and his legal team were appealing a decision by Supreme Court Justice Gregory Hilton, who had previously denied Seymour bail. Justice Crane Scott told Seymour that the panel of Court of Appeal Justices had decided to set aside Hilton's ruling and grant pre-trial bail based on terms and conditions. Those terms and conditions were set out in the justice's written ruling. It stated, bail is granted to the appellant in the sum of $30,000 with two sureties. The appellant is to report to the Airport Western Division Police Station every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday before 6 p.m. The appellant is to be fitted with an electronic monitoring device. The appellant is prohibited, whether in person or otherwise, from approaching, contacting, or otherwise interfering with Crown's witnesses, and in particular Calvin Hannah and Ellis Ramming. And the appellant is to surrender his passport and any travel documents to the Registrar of the Court of Appeal until the conclusion of the trial. The justices also noted in their ruling that, in spite of the appellant's good character, his strong family and community ties, and his long, unblemished record of service with the RBDF, the judge took into account the notorious facts of the high rate of murder in the community and erroneously connected those notorious facts with the fact that the offenses occurred at the residence of the head of state so as to justify his denial of bail to the appellant on the basis that the need for public safety and public order were paramount. Outside court, Seymour's relatives reacted to the news that he was granted bail.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
And he will not go back down.
Thank you, Jesus.
Linda Evans appeared for the Crown and Muriel DeSille appeared for Seymour. Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Lead defense attorney in the Shane Gibson trial, Keith Knight, QC, continued his second day of arguments before Supreme Court Justice Carolita Bethel and in the absence of the jury. Jurors are expected back in court tomorrow. They last heard testimony in the case on Tuesday. Prosecutors allege that Gibson received bribes from contractor Jonathan Ash between January and March of 2017. The defense has charged that it was improper for lead police investigator Deborah Thompson to call a joint meeting on September 25, 2017 between witnesses Jonathan Ash and Deborah Bastian and their attorneys after Gibson was charged. A young woman died tragically last evening when three cars collided at the junction of Alexandria Boulevard and Taylor Street in Nassau Village. Family members told Our News the victim is 23-year-old Deidre Cox, a mother of one child. Second officer in charge of the Police Traffic Division, Superintendent Marino Hines, says police got the call shortly after 6 p.m.
First responding officers went to the scene and discovered two vehicles facing south on Alexandria Boulevard and another vehicle right at the intersection. Those vehicles, a white Serena taxi van, a Chevy Malibu 2004, and a Honda CR-V 2004. It is believed that a female passenger in her mid-20s succumbed to her injuries at the scene.
Cox, who hailed from Cat Island, would have celebrated her 24th birthday on Friday. Her brother, Deidre Cox, says he is shocked and still coming to grips with her death. He described his sister as a loving woman who cared deeply for her child. It is still unclear what caused the collision. However, Hines says investigations are underway. Residents of the area looked on as tow truck drivers swept up shards of glass and crunched metal and removed the three vehicles from the scene. Hines says Cox was traveling in the gray Chevy Malibu. The occupants of the other vehicles received minor injuries.
We believe that the Honda CR-V carried a 7-month-old infant. All indications are that the infant is doing fine. Our reconstructionists are working the scene as we speak, and our investigations are continuing. We want to ask anybody who may have information pertaining to this accident to give us a call at Traffic Police Department or at 919 or 911 so that we can bring this accident to a quick resolution.
There have been calls for officials to place better signage at the junction where Cox was killed. Here's how officials responded to that.
Would you say that the lack of stop signs at this intersection played?
No, I would not say that. As I said, we are actively investigating this accident. In due course, we're going to have a cause for the accident. This intersection does not have an uptick in accidents as far as our records indicate. However, there are accidents at this intersection, but nothing that is alarmingly concerning at this time.
Still to come, police report 4 armed robberies in one night, plus why tourism officials visited Vancouver. Stay tuned.